I always knew I wasn't truly one of them. I was the outsider, the extra piece that didn't quite fit into the perfect puzzle of my best friend's family. But I tried. God, I tried. I had been around them for years, practically growing up alongside my best friend, Ava. Her family had money, connections, and power, but what they didn't have was drive. That's where I came in. I was the one who studied harder than anyone, the one who made the plans, the one who solved their problems before they even knew they had them. When Ava wanted to start a business, I was the one who drafted the entire plan. When her father's company was struggling, I was the one who suggested the restructuring that saved them. And when Ava's brother needed a job, I was the one who used my connections to get him in the door. But none of that mattered, because one night, as I sat at their dinner table, after years of loyalty, after giving them everything, I heard the words that changed everything. "We don't need you." Ava's voice was sharp, final. Her mother nodded. "You're always in the way." Her father didn't even look at me. I just sat there, frozen, trying to process what was happening. I expected Ava to at least hesitate, to soften, to regret. But she didn't. Instead, she scoffed. "It's not like your family." That hit me harder than I expected. After everything I had done, after everything I had sacrificed for them, I didn't fight. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I just stood up, grabbed my coat, and walked out the door. I didn't slam it. I didn't even look back. I just walked. Out of their house, out of their lives, out of the world I had built for them. The cold night air hit me as I stepped onto the street. It should have stung, but instead, it felt freeing. Like I had just shed a heavy weight I hadn't realized I was carrying. No more fixing their problems. No more waiting for their approval. No more pretending I belonged. They thought they didn't need me? Fine. Let's see how well they did without me. At first, there was nothing. No calls, no texts, no apologies. I wasn't surprised. They were arrogant enough to believe they'd be fine. They probably expected me to come crawling back, desperate to prove my worth that I didn't. Instead, I focused on myself. It was strange at first. So much of my life had revolved around them. I had spent years making sure Ava's business ideas were profitable, keeping her from making reckless mistakes. I had helped her father restructure his company when it was on the verge of collapse. I had even connected her brother to his first real job. But now I had time for my plans. The ones I had shoved aside because they had always needed something from me. Meanwhile, things started shifting in their perfect little world. Ava had always been the face of the business, but she had never been the brains. That had been me. Without me handling the numbers, the logistics, the strategy, things started slipping. At first, they didn't notice. Profits dipped slightly, nothing major, nothing alarming. Then the mistakes started piling up. Deals fell through. Investors got nervous. Ava had never been good at crisis management, and now, without me cleaning up her messes, she was drowning. Her father's company wasn't doing any better. He had always relied on my advice more than he realized. When I was around, I had subtly steered him away from bad decisions, pointed him toward the right opportunities. Now, he was blindly throwing money at problems he didn't understand. IT was slow, gradual, a tiny crack in a glass window, spreading wider with each passing day that I watched from a distance, not saying a word. They had made it clear they didn't need me, so I let them fall, and then, after weeks of silence, the first missed call appeared on my phone. I ignored it. Then another, and another. IT wasn't just Ava. It was her father, her mother, even her brother. They weren't doing fine. Not at all. And now, they wanted me back. But I had already started building something of my own. Something far bigger than anything they had ever imagined. And when they finally reached out again, truly desperate, I was going to laugh. The missed calls kept coming. At first, I ignored them. Let them sit there, unanswered, just like they had left me that night. But as the days passed, the desperation became obvious. The calls turned into voicemails, then texts. "Hey, I think we should talk." Ava's first message was casual, almost hesitant, as if she was trying to pretend nothing had happened. I left her on read. Then came her mother. "I know things were said that night, but we're still family. We should sit down and work this out." That one almost made me laugh. Family? Now they wanted to play that card. Her father's text was the most telling. I need your advice. Call me when you can. So that was it. They didn't miss me. They missed what I did for them. I scrolled through the messages, taking my time. There was no rush. I already knew what was happening. Ava's business was floundering. Her father's company was on shaky ground. They had pushed me out, convinced they didn't need me, and now they were scrambling because they had no idea how to fix what was falling apart. IT must have been killing them to reach out. I let them wait a little longer. While they were falling, I had been rising. With all the time and energy I had wasted on them, I had built something for myself instead. The ideas I had put aside, the opportunities one had handed to them instead of taking for myself, I reclaimed it all. I had started small, carefully, making connections, making moves. But unlike them, I knew what I was doing. And now? Now I was on the verge of something huge. That was when Ava finally broke point one night. After weeks of ignored calls, my phone lit up with a new message. I stared at Ava's message, letting the weight of it sink in. Please, we need you. Not I need you. We. Her whole family must have been panicking. Good that I didn't reply. Not yet. Instead, I went out for a walk, letting the cold night air clear my thoughts. Just a few months ago, I would have rushed to fix everything, to save them from their own incompetence. That was who I used to be, the person who cleaned up their messes, the one they could discard when it was convenient. Not anymore. By the time I got home, I had another voicemail. I pressed play.at first. There was just silence, then a shaky breath. Hey, it's Ava. Her voice was softer than usual. I know you're probably mad, and I don't blame you, but things have been hard. A pause. I messed up. We all did. She hesitated, as if expecting me to jump in, but of course, I wasn't there to save her this time. The business isn't doing well, she finally admitted, her voice cracking. I thought I could handle it, but everything's a mess. The investors are pulling out. We're losing money every day, and she took a sharp breath. Dad's company isn't any better. He tried to fix things, but I guess he didn't know how much of it was you. There it was. The truth. They had underestimated me. They thought I was replaceable. And now they were drowning without me. Look, she continued, her voice thick with desperation. I know we hurt you. I know we said things we shouldn't have. But can we just start over? Fix this? Together? Together. Like I was supposed to forget how they threw me away. I let the voicemail play to the end, then deleted it. The next morning, I got a call from an unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. Ava's father. His voice was steady, but there was an edge to it, tension, frustration. We need to talk. I smirked. Now he wanted to talk? Oh. I said casually. I thought you didn't need me. There was a pause. A long one. I could almost picture his jaw tightening, his pride clashing with his desperation. I was wrong, he admitted, voice strained. We all were. I let the silence stretch, long enough for him to feel it. Long enough for him to understand that this conversation wasn't on his terms. Then I laughed. A low, amused chuckle. You were wrong? I repeated slowly, like I was trying out the words for the first time. No kidding. And what exactly were you wrong about? He hesitated. Just for a second. That tiny pause where he realized this wasn't going to be as easy as he thought. About how much we needed you, he said finally. About, he exhaled. Like this was physically painful for him to say, about what you did for us. I leaned back in my chair, staring at the ceiling. Funny, I mused. Because the last time I checked, you all made it very clear that I was always in the way. He didn't respond. What could he say? We both knew the truth. Tell me, I continued, my voice turning sharper. What exactly changed? What suddenly made you realize my worth? He exhaled through his nose. We're in trouble. I smirked. There it was. No fake apologies. No real remorse. Just a problem they couldn't fix on their own. And now you want me to come save you, I said, my voice ice cold. After throwing me away like I was nothing. It's not like that, he tried, but I cut him off. It is exactly like that. Another silence. Longer this time. He was waiting for me to cave, to offer solutions, To step in like I always did that I didn't. I know you're upset, he said, trying a different tactic, but business is business. You can't tell me you don't care about what we built. I laughed again, sharper this time. We built? Don't insult me. I built it. You all just took the credit. His breathing tightened. If you still care at all, we need you back. Need me back? I repeated, pretending to think. See, that's the thing. I don't need you anymore. The silence on the other end was delicious. But I'll tell you what, I said after a moment. I'm in a good mood today, so I'll make you an offer. I could feel his relief. He thought I was about to save him. I smiled. My offer is this, I said, my voice dripping with mock kindness. You figure it out yourselves. Without me. And then, just before hanging up, I added, good luck. I didn't wait for a response. I ended the call. And that was when the real begging started. The messages started flooding in. Ava, her mom, her dad, even her brother, who had never bothered to say 2 words to me before. They were all scrambling now, clawing at any chance to pull me back in. Please, just meet with us. We can work something out. We're willing to make a deal. Pathetic. They had shoved me aside, convinced I was dead weight, only to realize I had been the foundation holding everything up. And now they were watching it all crumble. Powerless to stop it, I let them beg. Ignored their calls. Left their messages unread. Then, 3 days later, I got a new email. Not from Ava. Not from her parents. From their biggest competitor. I grinned as I read it. Apparently, word had gotten out about their unfortunate situation. Investors were backing out. Clients were leaving. People were talking. And this company, the one they had always looked down on, saw an opportunity. An opportunity that involved me. I didn't even hesitate. I scheduled the meeting. And when I walked into that office, they didn't see an afterthought. They didn't see someone in the way. They saw someone who was about to take everything. 2 weeks later, the news broke. The competitor had taken over their biggest contracts, secured their former investors, swooped in like vultures and picked apart what was left of their empire. And leading the charge, me. Ava called again that night. I let it ring, then another, and another. She wasn't giving up this time. I smirked, finally picking up. Yes? You. Her voice was shaking with rage. You did this. Did what? I asked, all mock innocence. You knew they would come for us, she snapped. You let it happen. I leaned back, savoring the moment. Actually, I made it happen. Her breath hitched. She hadn't wanted to believe it. You worked with them? I led them, I corrected. Turns out, I was never in the way. I was the way forward. But you were too stupid to see it. She was silent. Good. Let that sink in. We're ruined, she whispered. You ruined us. I chuckled. No, Ava. You ruined yourselves. I just made sure you felt it. I could almost hear the tears in her voice. Why? That was the funniest part. She still didn't get it. I just hung up. And that should have been the end of it. But people like them, people who took and took until there was nothing left, never knew when to stop. The knocking started the next morning. At tea first. I ignored it. Let them waste their energy pounding on my door. But when the knocking turned into banging, when the voices outside grew desperate, I finally got up, stretched, and made my way over. I didn't even need to check who it was. Swinging the door open, I was greeted with the sight of all of them. Ava, her parents, even her brother, the one who used to treat me like I didn't exist. They stood there, looking nothing like the arrogant, self-assured people who had once told me I was in the way. Ava's hair was a mess, her eyes puffy like she hadn't slept in days. Her mother, who used to hold her nose up at me, was clutching her husband's arm like she was afraid she might collapse. And her father, the one who had looked at me with disgust as he told me I was useless, now stood before me looking small. Defeated. It was almost funny. I leaned lazily against the doorframe, pretending to be surprised. Wow, I said, dragging out the word. Didn't expect to see you here. Ava stepped forward first. We need to talk. I arched an eyebrow. About what? You made it pretty clear that I was a burden, remember? Her father sighed, rubbing a hand down his face. We were wrong, he muttered. We should never have pushed you out. I smirked. Yeah, you said that already. I pretended to think. Didn't really mean much the first time. Ava's mother, who had barely acknowledged me before, suddenly found her voice. Please, she said, and I could tell it physically hurt her to say that word to me. You have to help us. Do I? I tilted my head, enjoying how they squirmed under my gaze. We're losing everything, Ava burst out. The company is collapsing. The investors won't even return our calls. And you? She swallowed hard, her voice cracking. You're the only one who can fix this. I let that sit between us for a moment, the desperation in her voice, the absolute irony of the situation. Then I smiled. You're right. Their faces lit up with hope. I leaned in slightly, lowered my voice. Let them think they were about to be saved. And then I shattered it. But I won't. Ava blinked. What? I straightened up, crossing my arms. I could fix this. I could make a few calls, pull a few strings. Hell, if I really wanted to, I could get your company back on its feet tomorrow. Their hope returned, flickering like a dying flame. But I don't want to. Ava's mother gasped like I had slapped her. Her father clenched his jaw. Ava took a shaky step forward. Please, we're begging you. I laughed, short and sharp. That's the difference between us, Ava. I begged you too once. Begged for you to see my worth. Begged for you to treat me like I mattered. And what did you do? She flinched. You laughed. You turned your back on me. You threw me away. Ava's mother tried again. We were wrong. Yeah, I said flatly. You were. Her father, the one who had never even looked at me like an equal, took a deep breath. If you won't help us out of kindness, then, he hesitated, forcing the words out. Then name your price. I tilted my head. My price? He nodded stiffly. Anything. Whatever it takes. I looked at them, taking in the sight. They were nothing now. Shadows of the people who once stood tall, who once thought they were untouchable. I could destroy them completely. Watch them fall all the way down until they had nothing left. Or, I smirked. All right. You want my price? They all nodded quickly, eyes lighting up with hope. I stepped closer, dropping my voice so they had to lean in to hear me. On your knees. Silence. Ava's father went rigid. Her mother's mouth fell open slightly. Ava looked like she had been slapped. You want my help? Then beg for it, I continued. Like I begged you. Like I pleaded when you shoved me out and told me I was worthless. Ava clenched her fists. You can't be serious. I smiled, tilting my head. Then I guess we have nothing left to talk about. I turned to close the door. Ava's father dropped to his knees. I froze, blinking in genuine surprise. Then Ava followed. Then her mother. Then her brother. All of them, kneeling on my doorstep, in front of me. Please, Ava's father gritted out, his pride crumbling before my eyes. We need you. I let the silence drag. Let them sit there in their humiliation. And then, with a slow, cruel smirk, I closed the door in their faces. Let them sit in their own failure. Let them feel what it was like to be powerless. It was quiet now. The phone had stopped buzzing with desperate calls. The doorbell wasn't ringing with their pathetic pleas. There was no more noise, no more pressure. Just the calm stillness of a world that had finally balanced itself. I had done what I set out to do. Not out of spite, not out of malice, but because I knew they would never learn otherwise. Ava, her family, they had all thought they could walk all over me. They had convinced themselves that I was the weak one, the one who didn't matter. But the truth was, I was the only one who saw the bigger picture. I was the one who understood what it took to build something, to create something lasting. And when they cast me aside, they destroyed themselves. I had no sympathy for them. Not anymore. They were a lesson to me, a lesson I would carry with me for the rest of my life. Success, true success, wasn't about just getting by. It was about having the strength to walk away when people didn't see your worth, and to watch them crumble under the weight of their own ignorance. I built something on my own. Without them, I took their rejection and turned it into fuel. I created my empire. A real empire. One they couldn't tear down, one they couldn't even touch now. And now I laugh. Because they came crawling back, asking me to rebuild what they so carelessly destroyed. But what they didn't understand, what they would never understand, is that they had the power to succeed all along. They just didn't see me. They never saw me for what I was. I wasn't their savior. I wasn't their backup. I was always the key, and they would never get to touch that again, so I let them beg. I let them crawl. I let them hurt. Because in the end, the only person who needed to believe in me was me, and I finally did.